The war in the South had turned into a grinding, merciless struggle by the spring of after the fall of Charleston and the shattering defeat of Horatio Gates at Camden. The British seemed unstoppable. Lord Cornwallis controlled the low country, the ports, the major roads. He rested his army at Camden through the suffocating August heat, waiting for cooler weather before pushing into North Carolina. He expected an easy conquest. He was wrong. North Carolina greeted him with hostility. Bands of militia lurked behind every hill and thicket, cutting off foraging parties, killing couriers, capturing dispatches. Cornwallis called Mecklenburg County a hornet's nest, a name it still carries proudly today. Information dried up, bad news traveled faster than good, and soon the worst news arrived. Before leaving South Carolina, Cornwallis had sent Major Patrick Ferguson, one of his most capable partisan leaders, into the Western Highlands with 200 British light infantry and 1,000 Loyalist militia. Ferguson's orders were simple: recruit more Tories, scour the backcountry, and then join the main army at Charlotte. He was not expected to meet serious opposition. If danger appeared, he was to retreat quickly. Ferguson did the opposite. He pushed deep into what is now Rutherford County, chasing a small band of American partisans, trying to trap them. He rode into Yorktown, boasting that he would hang every rebel leader he caught. He sent a threatening message to the over-mountain men settlers west of the Appalachians, warning that if they did not submit, he would cross the mountains and burn their homes. That message was a fatal mistake. The threat lit a fire under the backwoodsmen. These were hard-men hunters, farmers, sons of Scots-Irish immigrants who had already fought Indians and wrestled a living from wilderness. They knew how to ride, shoot, and move through mountains without being seen. Word spread like dry grass catching flame. From Virginia came William Campbell with 400 men. From North Carolina came Benjamin Cleveland and Charles McDowell. From the Watauga settlements came Isaac Shelby and John Sevier, names that would later become famous in the story of Tennessee and Kentucky. From South Carolina came James Williams with 400 more. By late September, nearly 3,000 frontiersmen had gathered, fringed hunting shirts, coonskin caps sprigged with hemlock, long rifles that could kill at 200 yards. They moved fast. On October 7, 1780, they surrounded Ferguson's camp on a narrow, rocky ridge called King's Mountain. Ferguson had about 1,100 men, his British provincials and Loyalist militia. He formed them in a defensive ring near the summit, confident his bayonets could break any attack. The Americans attacked from all sides at once. They used the trees and boulders for cover, firing aim shots while the Loyalists volleyed blindly into the woods. Ferguson rode up and down the line in his red and white checkered hunting shirt, blowing a silver whistle to rally his men. But the pressure never eased. The frontiersmen crept closer, firing from behind rocks, reloading on the move, flanking every attempt to counterattack. After about an hour, the Loyalist line began to crumble. Ferguson tried to cut his way out on horseback. Riflemen shot his horse from under him. He rose, sword in hand, and was hit again 7 times. Some said he fell dead. The rest surrendered. Not one of Ferguson's men escaped death, wounding, or capture. The battle was over in little more than an hour. The over-mountain men had destroyed the single most dangerous Loyalist force in the Carolinas. News of King's Mountain spread like wildfire. Loyalist recruitment stopped cold. Cornwallis, already uneasy about his exposed position, realized the backcountry was ungovernable. He abandoned his advance into North Carolina and fell back towards South Carolina to protect his supply lines. The hornet's nest had stung hard. Nathanael Greene arrived to take command in December. He found an army of fewer than 1,500 ragged Continentals and a countryside alive with guerrilla bands. Rather than seek one big battle, he divided his small force, sending Daniel Morgan west with 600 men, while he kept the rest to draw Cornwallis' attention. The strategy worked. Cornwallis detached Tarleton's British Legion to destroy Morgan. On January 17, 1781, at a place called the Cowpens, Morgan laid one of the most brilliant traps of the war. He placed his militia in front with orders to fire 2 volleys and fall back. Behind them stood his disciplined Continentals and picked riflemen under William Washington. Tarleton charged, confident of another easy victory. The militia fired, then pretended to rout, drawing the British forward in disorder. Suddenly the Continentals stepped out, delivered a close-range volley, and charged with bayonets. Tarleton's legion collapsed. More than 800 British were killed or captured, almost the entire force. Morgan slipped away before Cornwallis could catch him. Cornwallis, furious, burned his baggage to lighten his army and chased Greene across North Carolina in a month-long race to the Dan River. Greene stayed just ahead, crossing swollen streams, destroying bridges behind him. On February 14, he reached the Dan with boats waiting thanks to careful preparation. Cornwallis arrived too late. Exhausted, far from supplies, he retreated to Wilmington to refit. Greene turned south again, gathering militia as he went. In March 1781 he met Cornwallis at Guilford Courthouse. The battle was savage. Greene's line bent, but did not break until ammunition ran low. He withdrew in good order. Cornwallis claimed victory, but at ruinous cost, more than a quarter of his army killed or wounded. He had won the field, but lost the campaign. Unable to hold the interior, he abandoned the Carolinas and marched north into Virginia, hoping to establish a naval base and link with British forces there. Virginia became the final theater. Cornwallis rampaged through the state in the summer of 1781, burning tobacco warehouses, destroying foundries, freeing enslaved people who fled to his lines by the thousands. Lafayette shadowed him with a small force, avoiding battle but keeping pressure on. Then the decisive convergence began. Washington and Rochambeau slipped south in secret. Admiral de Grasse sailed from the West Indies with 28 ships of the line and 3,000 troops. On September 5, off the Virginia Capes, de Grasse fought a cautious action against Admiral Graves's 19 ships. Graves withdrew to New York. De Grasse held the bay. When de Grasse's second-in-command, Barras, arrived with siege artillery from Newport, the trap was complete. On October 6, the siege of Yorktown began. French and American guns pounded British lines day and night. Redoubts fell to storming parties, Alexander Hamilton leading one American assault, French troops taking another. Cornwallis tried to break out across the York River. A sudden storm scattered his boats. On October 17, he asked for terms. On October 19, his army, more than 7,000 men, marched out between double lines of silent American and French troops and grounded arms. The band played "The World Turned Upside Down." It was the last major battle of the war. Looking back, the Southern campaign revealed a painful truth. Britain could win battles, capture cities, burn plantations, but she could never extinguish the will to resist. Militia who fled at Camden stood firm at Cowpens. Farmers who hid from Tarleton rode with Marion. A people who once begged for redress now fought for sovereignty. The war dragged on in negotiations. Britain, exhausted and fighting France, Spain, and Holland on 4 continents, finally signed the Treaty of Paris in 1783, recognizing American independence and granting generous boundaries. Yet the cost had been terrible. Cities burned, economies shattered, families divided, loyalists exiled. The Southern campaigns left scars that would take generations to heal. But through every reverse, Camden's rout, Charleston's fall, Guilford's bloody draw, the American cause endured. In the end, the Southern War proved something profound. A determined people, even when their armies were broken and their cities lost, could still deny victory to the greatest empire on earth. They did it not with overwhelming numbers or endless resources, but with endurance, cunning, and an idea that governments exist to secure the rights of the governed, and when they become destructive of those ends, it is the right and the duty of the people to alter or abolish them. That idea, carried through swamps and pine barrens, across rivers and battlefields, finally prevailed. And when the last British soldier marched out of New York in 1783, the new nation stood not perfect, not wealthy, not yet united but free, sovereign, and ready to begin the long work of becoming the United States of America.